Hi there, it's John and Mike from brew-dudes.com, and we're back drinking beer, talking about this beer that I brewed. It's a lager, and this is the Redemption lager, I think.
Redemption.
This is the lager that I brewed after the Czech Pilsner that we talked about a couple of videos ago. More than a couple, probably several videos ago. But this is just a straight up German Pils. I got 10 pounds of German Pilsner malt and said, I'm going to use the trube that is left behind from the Czech Pilsner, and we're going to mash it up, and we're going to boil it up, and then we're going to chill it down, and then I'm going to rack the Czech Pilsner into a secondary vessel, and then pour the cooled wort of this guy right on top of that yeast cake that was at the bottom of the fermenter. So that's where this came from. I was actually going to go with a Schwarzbier, but you know what? I decided that I wanted to go light. I felt like getting another light lager under my belt would be a better goal for me, I think, or a better challenge. So that's what I did. So I really don't have too much to add to the recipe outside of 100% German Pilsner malt, and then I use Hallertauer hops, probably a little probably like I think it was 4% alpha acids at the beginning of the boil, 60-minute boil, and then right before, like 10 minutes to go in the boil, another ounce of it.
What's the yeast strain? Did you say that?
The yeast strain was the same as the Czech Pilsner, which was White Labs WLP 800.
800.
So, which is not exactly a German.
So that's I think
lager.
that's just German lager, right? German lager yeast 800. Okay.
I think 830 is the German lager yeast.
Okay.
But 800 is more for like a Czech.
Okay. Southern
Pilsner.
German lager yeast, is that the other one?
That's 838. Yep.
838, right?
But 800 is just for Czech. But I said, well, let's see what happens. Let me use just a very light malt bill, and maybe this becomes my new Czech Pilsner. You know what I mean? Like I could probably put this in different categories and see what the consensus is. But right now, I only care about one man's opinion, and he's sitting to my right. So, Mike, what do you think? We actually tasted this yesterday, but here we are, day 2, and now we're on camera, so now it's for real. All the beans.
Now it's real. Actually, I think just another day of it. It's clearer today than what we poured yesterday.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Yeah.
The carbonation is sweet on this. It's just bubbling through. It's a beautiful beer to look at. There isn't a whole lot of foam there because you wouldn't expect it to be tremendous, but it is holding and it's lacing the glass. That's nice. The aroma, there's a Pilsner malt aroma and a very subtle amount of, I would say, lager sulfur quality. So, a little bit of that, like, it's not really corn-like, but that's the best way to describe it. It is just a lager sulfurness, but it's completely within parameters. I was almost going to say within check, but that's the other beer, so I don't want to do that. But it's good. And then, the bitterness, there's definitely a hop presence there, but it's not overly bitter. It's just sort of noble hop, spicy, a little bit earthy in its tone. I think it could be, overall, a tad bit crisper, and maybe just with a little bit more age, it'll sort of, that flavor profile will sort of clean itself out a little bit more. Yeah. But I know, it lagered in this fridge for like
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah. So yeah. But it'll stay in, what I'm going to do is probably bottle a whole bunch of it up and then put that in the fridge. That really, we've talked about this before, like how like getting clear beer in a keg, it just takes so long for things to settle out.
Versus in a bottle. Yeah. So this is, what was the water again? Did we talk about that
I'm
already?
glad you brought that up because there were some things I wanted to, this was just spring water again.
Okay.
I didn't mess with the chemical. Actually, I might have taken a smidge of gypsum and just throw
Put
it
it
in
in
there. I really did. I just like took
Just
a
to
pinch.
say that you did something.
Yes, and said, all right, well, put it, you know.
Because German lager is going to be classically very soft, right?
Yeah,
Water?
but it should have that addition to help like make the hops kind of bark a bit more.
I almost wonder if it's, too, without really knowing what the spring water's water profile is, you know, what, how much the influence is of the water. It screams out German Pilsner. It's very, very good. It'd be interesting to see you bottle some of this up, get some feedback from other judges. I say other judges as if I'm a judge. Other opinionated people.
Yeah.
And see what they say to see if it matches up with our impressions of it. But it's spot on right there. I think like the comments I've made are really just sort of splitting hairs.
Yeah.
So.
And I agree. The one funny note about this beer is because I put the wort right on that yeast cake, I had my first explosion with a lager, meaning that I woke up the next morning because of course fermentation kicked off right away.
Yeah.
And the stopper had popped off, and I had really gross looking yeast hot particle cement all over my refrigerator. And it was one of these things where I cleaned up as much as I could and put this, sanitized the stopper, put it back on.
It's always a drag when that happens.
And then I said, I was going on vacation. I said, I'm going to deal with this at a later date, like 8 days later.
Well, it certainly didn't hurt any, and the aggressive ferment is definitely
I think that
what you
was
want
the key.
there.
Yeah.
I wonder if you had this aggressive ferment on your Czech Pilsner, if that would have been a little bit brighter.
Well, that's certainly something I'm going to try.
Yeah. I know from some very, very old podcasts that Jamil Zainasheff used to talk about, for him brewing lagers, he would just brew like 3 just Pilsner lager, throwaway lagers, if you will. That he, because he really, to me, it was like that third, fourth generation of repitching that yeast is when it really started to sing. Not that it matters now, but I mean, getting a great ferment is where it's at, and this definitely shows it.
And then the last thing I wanted to bring up, I think that the hop aftertaste, which is really what I wanted, like a nice lingering spiciness.
Yeah.
I wonder, because that Czech Pilsner has so much Saz in it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much Saz like in the bottom of the tube too.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, well, is that going to be over bitter and bring more of a noble bitterness that I don't want? Maybe I'm going to overshoot what I want in this beer. But you're not finding it offensive.
No.
So that's the only other consideration I had. But I am pleased to say that I don't think it's a big deterrent from this beer either. I think that it fits right well, and everything was pretty smooth in the aftertaste.
It's very nice.
Yeah, man. So there we go, the Redemption Pilsner. I'm going to bottle a whole bunch of these and just save it away and hopefully get a lot of great feedback from competition judges. All right.
Great.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to our channel if you dig this kind of stuff. We put something up every week. And if you like it, then leave a comment below if you have other tips on how to brew Pilsners, especially if you're using yeast cakes from previous brews. For John and Mike, brew-dudes.com, brew on.
Cheers.